Hey everyone, today I'm reviewing I Reincarnated as the little sister of a death game manga's murder mastermind and failed. And yes, that is a huge handful of words to say. That is the title. Could be a paragraph, but yes, that's the title. So, if you want to learn more about the story in a quick short, well, I already have that made. So go ahead, maybe watch that and come back. But basically, the main character's stepbrother is a killer who kills all of his classmates and his sister, the protagonist, from this death manga. And how does she know about this? Well, she reincarnated into this manga world. So obviously, she has her work cut out for her, and she has to make this psychopath's life more interesting, hopefully, to prevent him from mass murder. But it doesn't go that smoothly in our case because in the very first few panels of the manga, it shows us that she failed. But there's a little twist because she's alive and her stepbrother is obsessed with her. So the story is pretty simple. It's not anything super, complicated or anything. It mostly focuses on, relationships and how, these people's, how Mai and her brother's psyche kind of develops as the story progresses. So I found that the manga moves fairly naturally, and I really like, each kind of little event or thing situation that they go through in each chapter. Nothing feels like it's filler or that it's rushed. We just kind of get to know the characters little by little, and each chapter is usually told in the perspective of either Mai or her stepbrother. And I really appreciate that because actually we learn a lot about each of them in each kind of perspective and how they think and how their thoughts are progressing as the story goes on, and their different reactions to the same situation. So story, I'd give a 3 out of 5, which is kind of rough. I was almost thinking of about a 4 out of 5, but I mean, it's a super simple story. It's nothing like so complicated, so I think 3 out of 5 is pretty good. So next is the art. So the art is very like simple and sketchy. There's a lot of use of like bold lines and straight lines, and it's definitely like a sketchy kind of look, but it still looks polished. And a really cool thing about it is that they use like screen tones to make the hair. Like they don't really use that many like black outlines and stuff for the hair. It looks very like unique but like natural. But yeah, that was just like a unique thing that I saw, that I noticed. Yeah, so I do like the art style, but I have seen better, so I will also be giving this a 3 out of 5. And for her brother, I mean, for the characters section, so I wanted to talk about each character. Her brother is obviously a psychopath. I mean, this guy is wanting to murder someone, and he only finds enjoyment out of murdering people. So that's not cool. But Maya, on the other hand, is really nice and supportive, and knows her brother's true personality, but she still, loves him. Later, we find out that love is romantically ew. But yeah, she's really friendly with everyone, unlike the previous death manga's sister, killer's sister, which was somebody else, but now, obviously our protagonist has replaced her. So yeah, she's the main character is very nice and very humanistic. So it's a large contrast, my between Mai and her brother, which is pretty interesting. And of course, as I mentioned, the different perspectives that we get from both characters. Now, lastly, I wanted to give a bonus point for framing because this manga does framing like really well. This is probably the first time I've noticed that a manga does like framing, and like the flow is just perfect. So usually they say like if you have really bad framing in your cartoon, then people will notice it. And if you have good framing in your cartoon, then nobody will notice it. But if you have like really good framing in your cartoon, then people will notice it. And I think that's what happened. So, I mean, they have this whole shot where there's like a street, and, it's kind of calling back to how her brother kind of ostracized his sister back when he had no interest in her. But then later on, the next chapter, he's doing the same thing with, a potential love interest of the sister. So yeah, it's just really cool. Kind of like artsy moments. I don't know, maybe this technique has like a name or something, but I just thought that was really cool. So my final rating for this manga is going to be a 3 out of 5, which again, it's almost a 4 out of 5, but it's just a 3 out of 5 just because it's really simple. And I have read a lot of manga that are just really good. So unfortunately, this will be a 3 out of 5, but I still really enjoyed this manga, and I think it is a really good read. The chapters do go by really fast, and it updates very rarely, like about once every few months. So I definitely recommend this if you like, yandere, love interest. I'm kind of partial to it. Like, I find it kind of cringe sometimes, but I do think this one is pretty interesting, so it's definitely worth a read. And yeah, that's all from me. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.